Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, this time in the spring is a time we've all been waiting for, and it's a time when animals and birds and fish have been waiting for too. It's a time of change. It's a time of movement. It's a time of life. And I got to tell you, I see it in so many different ways. And I wanted to talk about a story I got from my nephew who is in Ohio right now. And he's out fishing different places in Ohio. And it's a new place for him because he was living in Alabama before. So he calls me and he tells me things. And we talk about, well, maybe this would be a good lure to use and whatever. Well, that isn't what we talked about on the last phone call. He said, Don, you won't believe what I saw. He said, I was fishing around an island. And all of a sudden, this group of geese started frantically, said they were going just crazy, chasing after a little weasel. And he said, I assume it was a mink. And he said it was something, he said, I've never seen before. And I mean, he said those geese were going crazy trying to get at and attack that weasel. Well, what had probably happened is if they hadn't had their goslings yet, and the weasels will come in and try to get the eggs out of the nest. And the geese know that. I want to tell you about something I just saw. Last night, I was running down by the Psych Center in Ogdensburg, and there were geese all around, and there were geese now with their little goslings, these little yellow geese. You'd swear they were ducklings because they're yellow, but they change in color. But anyway, they follow their mother and father, and I noticed that this group of them had gone across the road, and they were in the grass maybe 50 feet from me. And all of a sudden, I saw this one goose getting all upset, and a blackbird had landed on the grass maybe 15 feet away. And that goose was looking at that blackbird, and the blackbird was looking back and not moving. And that goose was aggressively making body motions to come after that blackbird. It was thinking, you just make one move, buddy, and you've had it, because I'm going to protect my little goslings. And it's really interesting this time of the year to see so many of these things playing out before us. I don't remember these geese having these young goslings so early. I'm wondering, and I can't remember for sure when it usually takes place, but it seems like it's earlier this year. But anyway, it's something that, again, so often I talk about the things we see when we go fishing. And I think of my nephew watching those geese attack a weasel. Now, I assume it was a mink, because the minks are along the shore a lot, and I'm sure they do their share of raiding nests. But anyway, it's so much fun when you can see other things happening when you go fishing. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. I got to tell you, I talked in another report about this is a time for walleyes. Well, it's a time for everything. It's a time for big fish. It's a time, if you love to fish northerns like I do, to catch northern pike and have a chance of catching a big one. But it's also a time for catfish. How many of you think about catfish? Probably not many. And we have populations of catfish in our rivers. For example, the Oswegatchie and especially the Racket River has a lot of really big catfish. And this is a time when people can catch them from shore. They can catch really big fish. And I was talking to my buddy Justin, and he was telling me that down in the areas in the bays of Lake Ontario, oh my goodness, the catfish, right now the fishing is fantastic. And this kid apparently was fishing in a kayak in Black River Bay and just broke the state record of the biggest catfish caught in New York State by my buddy Eric Scordo a couple years ago. He just beat it this last weekend. So if you've never tangled with a big catfish, I got to tell you, it's quite an experience. They have power, and they've got the just massiveness of their bodies where it could be an awful lot of fun. And we've gone into it in depth of the baits to use. You can use pieces of liver. You could use worms even. But one of the really best baits for catfish is cut in half bluegill. And boy, do they ever love bluegill. But the point is that we've got great populations of these fish. We don't talk about them much. We have so many other sport, and I put quotations around sport, fish that seem to demand all our attention. But catching some of these other fish can be such a ball. And right now, there's tons of big catfish being caught by those that are in the know and that realize that it's a wonderful sport in itself. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.